Panagdait sa Dios ug sa tanang kabuhatan, and welcome to our virtual class. Now today we will be discussing the continuation of our lesson 1, the contemporary in traditional art, the gawad sa manlilikha ng bayan, part 2. Okay, for our learning targets, at the end of the lesson, all of you are expected to explain how traditions becomes contemporary and vice versa through the practices of awardists of Gawad sa Manlilika ng Bayan or the Gamaba Awards. Second is for you to identify the works of national artists and recognize their contributions to Philippine art and culture. So first, awardist, di ba, as we had discussed last week, we have 13 Gamaba awardists. Now we'll start with Owang Ahadas, and he's a musician. So music ang iyang field of art. Now, Ayakan of Lamitan Basilan was awarded for his dexterity in playing Iyakan musical instruments such as the Quintangan, Gabang, Agong, Quintangan Kayo, Tuntungan among the others. And he has a deep knowledge of the aesthetic possibilities and social context of those instruments in spite of the dimming of his eyesight. He has devoted his life to the teaching of Iyakan musical tradition. So in spite of the problems with his eyesight, no, still si Hadas nagka-contribute gyapon siya og one of the biggest contribution in the field of music, no, and that is preserving the Yakan instruments. So kaning sa picture mao ni siya si Owang Ahadas, and then the right side picture mao ni siya ang example of Yakan instruments, no, with the use of bamboo. So as you notice, ang instrument nga gigamit nga materials is indigenous, di ba? So that is the first Gamaba Awardee. We have Owang Ahadas. Next, we have Magdalena Gamayo, textile weaver. Okay. Based in Pinili, Ilocos Norte, Magdalena Gamayo took up weaving when she was 16. Guided by her aunt's patterns, she received her first loom from her father 3 years later, and then which she would end up using for 30 years. And then she also taught herself the traditional patterns such as Kosikus Whirlwind, Marurup or Milky Way, and Sinan Padak Tipusa or Cat's Paw Print, building on the more common unwritten or geometric design and Sinan Sabong flowers. So mao ni siya si Magdalena Gamayo, a textile weaver, and then on the right picture mao ni siya ang process and how to weave, no, na siya mga patterns nga ginasuon. And then self-taught lang ni siya, although she was guided by her aunt's patterns, pero ang iyang pag practice, no, kay on the traditional patterns kay self-taught ra. We also have Eduardo Motoc, a metalsmith and artist. A Kapampangan from Central Luzon is recognized for reviving the Spanish colonial era craft of plateria. This self-taught master craftsman found his calling in producing religious and secular art in silver, bronze, and wood. In doing so, and his pursuit of perfection for himself and his apprentices, he assures the continuity of this rich tradition. So, self-taught lang gihapon ni siya, no, si Eduardo Motoc, and then mo ni siya ang picture, and then the right picture, uh, mo ni ang sample artwork ni Eduardo Motoc. So, it can be a silver or bronze or wood, kumbaga mura bitag iyang i-curve, and then to produce an art. And this kind of art was uh, during or was influenced during the Spanish era. And then hangtod karon, mo nang gitawag sila og na-appeal siya sa Agama Bawardi because until now he is still practicing this artwork. 'Di ba kay kung one of the guidelines para ma-appeal ka sa Gamaba Award, this is that dapat ang imong art nga gina-practice is within 50 years, no? Kumbaga gina-preserve niya mo ang art and then hangtod karon gina-practice gyapon nimo. Okay, that's what happened with Eduardo Motoc. We also have Langdulay or Tinalak Weaver. Atibulo of Lake Cebu, South Cotabato was awarded for weaving the abaka, ikat cloth called tinalak. She has produced creations which remain faithful to the Tibuli tradition as manifested in the complexity of her design, fineness and workmanship, and quality of finish. In Lang Dulay's family, the weaving of the tinalak or the abaka cloth took place before or after farm work, when the weather was cool and the conditions were better for the product. So ayang gigamit nga material is abaka. And then Manisha si Lang Dulay. This is Lang Dulay, and then mao ni ang iyahang mga artworks nga na-produce. So as you noticed, no, most of the weaver kay mga bayi. Ganina nag-present ko weaver gyapon to siya, although kani si Lang Dulay is naani siya Tibuli na tribe. Okay, next we have Samaun Sulaiman, a musician, a Magindanaoan of Mama Sapano, Maguindanao. He was awarded for his outstanding artistry and dedication to his chosen instrument, the Maguindanao Kotyapi. The Kotyapi is a two-string plucked lute, regarded as one of the most technically demanding and difficult to master among Filipino traditional. So, kaning nasa picture mao ni ang example or ang a figure of ikoy at kotyapi, a two-string pluck lute. Now, as you notice sa iyang definition, one of the most technically demanding and difficult to master, although two strings ra siya nga type of instrument, but then it is one of the most difficult to master nga instrument as one of the traditional instruments, Filipino traditional instruments. Okay, that is Samaun Sulaiman. Next we have Hanja Amina Api, Pandan Mat Weaver. So another weaver. So, okay, mo ni siya si Hanja, and then mo ni ang example sa iyahang artwork. She lives in Ongos Matata, Tandobas, Tawi-Tawi. She is recognized as the master mat weaver among the Sama indigenous community of Ongos Matata. Her colorful mats with their complex geometric patterns exhibit her precise sense of design, proportion, and symmetry, and sensitivity to color. So as you notice, ang iyahang artwork or iyang mat nga giweave is colorful, and then there's also a pattern nga gisunod. Seventh, we have Federico Caballero, a chanter and educator. So this is Federico Caballero. Ipanay Bukidnon of Kalinog, Iloilo, was awarded for his mastery of chanting the Sugidanon, the epic traditional of Central Panay. He ceaselessly worked for the documentation of the epics of his people, painstakingly piecing together the elements of this oral tradition nearly lost. So, ihapong gi-master is the oral literature. Okay, and also it has something to do with their culture. We have Gina Bilog, a poet. Okay, this is Gina Bilog, and this is his artwork. Hanuno Mangyan of Mansalay, Oriental Mindoro. He was awarded for faithfully preserving the Hanuno Mangyan script and Ambahan poetry. He was promoted the local script and poetry so that the art will not be lost but preserved. The Mangyan script is one of the four remaining syllabic scripts in the country, and Gina Bilog's work has been crucial to its preservation. Okay, so mauni siya ang in the right picture, mauni siya ang Mangyan script, no? According to the definition, one of the four remaining syllabic scripts in the country. So grabe kini siya og contribution ni si Ginaw Bilog in the field of literature. So aside ani, he is also a poet. We have Salita Monon, textile weaver. Okay, this is Salita Monon, and then mo ni ang iyang artwork. Agama Bawardi of Tagabawap Bagodo of Bansalan, Davao del Sur. She was awarded for fully demonstrating the creative and expressive aspects of the Bagubo Abaka Ikat weaving called Inabal at a time. When such art is threatened with extinction, Salita Monon was 12 when she began learning to weave the Inabal, a traditional Bagobo textile. In her home in Bansalan, Davao del Sur, Monon would isolate herself from the family to be able to concentrate on creating her clothes and skirts, because it takes months to finish this textile weaving. No, so as you notice, mostly it's mga weaver is mga bayi. Okay? Although lahi-lahi lang sila og lugar, lahi-lahi pud sila og style, lahi-lahi pud sila og materials nga gigamit. We also have Darhata Sawabi, again another textile weaver. Agama Bawardi of Barangay Parang, Hulu Island, Sulu Province, has preserved the art of Pisyabit weaving. It is difficult art of tapestry weaving that creates the traditional squares used by the Tausug for ornamentation. Despite the conflict in Hulu's, Sawabi's dedication to her art enhanced the preservation of traditional Tausug designs. Darhata Sawabi's mission was to lead young women towards making a living out of her craft. So, kaning ilahang mga art, this is not just about preserving the traditional arts, but also this is their way of living. So manang until karon gina-practice gihapon na nila. We also have Teofilo Garcia, a Gourd Hat maker. Agama Bawardi of San Quintin, Abra, who have discovered and popularized the durable tabungaw hat out of enlarged upo or gourd. So ang kaning mo ni siya si Teofilo Garcia, ang kaning kalo or hat nga nasa picture This is made out of upo, no? Enlarge, gipa-enlarge nga upo. He hollowed out the upo or tabungaw, varnish and polish it to make it more durable and unique yellow sheen. In San Quintin Abra, Teofilo Garcia would often walk around town wearing this gourd casques. So, uh, para ma mas durable ang kuan ang iyang hat, syempre gi-varnish na niya, gi-polish because it is just made out of upo, no? And then still until now naari gihapon ning artwork, and this is because of the work of Teofilo Garcia. Alonzo Saclag, a traditional dancer and musician. Okay, this is Alonzo Saclag, a Kalinga of Lubuagan. Kalinga was awarded for his mastery of the Kalinga dance and the performing arts. He was also recognized for his persistence to create and nurture and greater consciousness and appreciation of Kalinga culture among the Kalinga themselves and beyond their borders. It was through observation, time, and experience rather than education or training or any kind. So, self-taught ra gihapon ni siya. It's through observation and based on experience that Alonzo mastered local instruments along with dance patterns associated with rituals. So again, mobalik ta sa ato ang topic nga ang purpose topic last week nga ang purpose sa art is not just for entertainment, no? Sometimes na siya cultural value and they use this art as a ritual for ritual purposes. So mo na siya ang na contribute ni Alonzo Saclag. He's a dancer and a musician. Now, in the right picture, kung makita ninyo, nagplay siya og musical instrument made out of bamboo. Last, we have Masino Intaray, a chanter and musician. Okay, this is Masino Intaray and this is the instrument that he used to play. A Palawan of Brooks Point, Palawan, he was awarded for exemplary skills in basal or gong music ensemble. He was also recognized for his versatility as musician, poet, epic chanter, and storyteller of the Kulilal and Bagay traditions of the Palawan. A member of the Palawan tribe, musician, and epic chanter, Masino Intaray was a master of the basal agong music instrument played during rice cooking, tambilaw, and sharing tinapay or rituals which gather the community as they serve offerings to the Palawan rice god Ampot Paray. So again, it's part of their culture. Anong gina-practice ra gyapon ni nila hangtod karon. And that is isa sa na-contribute ni Masino Intaray is to play the instruments, to chant in honor to the Palawan rice god Ampot Paray. So those are the 13 Agama Bawardi. As you notice, all of their stories has one thing in common. They all have one thing in common, and that is they preserve the traditional instruments na hangtod karon ginagamit gihapon. And that is why they deserve to be awarded or given the award as Gamaba awardees. Okay, so that's it for today. And for your activity, just answer your activity on Genio. And see you next week for another video presentation. Thank you.